In today's episode of Notified, we're talking Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, and YouTube. How you doing? I'm Brett Campbell. Welcome to another episode of Notified, where in our first story, we are going to jump straight into Facebook Messenger. I've been talking about Facebook Messenger for a very long time, especially for my fellow business owners. And any brand that needs to form relationships. The Facebook Messenger app is, it's been on the rise. If you just look at the introduction of how many users are now using, over 1 billion users already on the Messenger app itself, you would have to be naive just to think that Facebook are going to create an app where you can just communicate and that's all they're going to do. No, they're going to monetize the pants off it. So I want to jump into an article here written by David Marcus from Facebook himself, and he's talked about the 6 trends for 2018, what to watch when it comes to Facebook Messenger. Basically, I want to throw out a couple of things. I'm just going to read off the article. In 2017, we crossed some significant milestones like the 1.3. See, I was 300,000 people out of, 3 million people. My gosh, 1.3 billion. What's 3 million people, right, in this day and age? 1.3 billion strong community actively using Messenger every single month. That's the key. 1.3 billion people actively using it, meaning they went into their app. That's how it's judged. We've also seen businesses and services becoming more active on the Messenger platform with over 200,000 bots. Okay, so Messenger bots, where basically you can set up a sequence, an automated sequence, and you can have messages flying off here, left, right, and center based off people's replies. So it's a really cool thing. We're going to do some future videos on actually message bots and how you can be using them in your business. But as you can see, over 200,000 businesses now are actively using them, and they're using them to currently drive traffic to scale their business. Simple as that. We've also seen changes in how we communicate with family and friends. Right, the rise of visual communication has been the key to over, check this out, 500 billion emojis and 18 billion GIFs. It's quite funny when I say 18 billion GIFs. We've even created our own GIFs, so let's put up our GIFs somewhere around here, a couple of them, which you're going to see a lot more interaction from a visual perspective. Now, I find myself going through social media and I don't reply with too many words. If I can find an emoji or I can find a GIF that actually portrays what I'm trying to say, I'll always use the GIF. It's just a different way of communicating. And what it does is actually stops people in their tracks and sees it. So if you can be using emojis, GIFs, not just because they're given to you, but how could you utilize them in your business? It's so cool. There were 17 billion video chats on Messenger. Right, I use Messenger and I teach this at my events, where I'm, from a customer perspective, what's stopping you from just getting on your phone, getting on your app and sending an actual video message to someone instead of like the old school email, right? Using visual representation and communication is huge. Now, this is really cool. This is exciting. With AR filters and effects, plus the ability to get together in a one-on-one and group video chats for up to 50 people at a time. They're now creating video chats where you can have up to 50 people. That's almost like its own webinar, its own live platform. It's unbelievable. So now let's just get stuck straight into, because I could read this and I'm sure you could read as well. But there's some very, very exciting things happening with Messenger. You'll already see now, just from your own interpretation of it, of going through, you're seeing ads in there, right? You're seeing videos pop up in there. And you're going to start to get programmed by this, and it's just going to become normal. It's just going to be just like your Facebook newsfeed. All right, so here's a peek of things of what they're thinking about for 2018. They've got real-time FTW. Now, I don't know what FTW means, but I know what real-time means. And basically what this means here is you're now able to send real-time message. So it's almost like a walkie-talkie where I press a button and I can be sending you, I could be sitting there for 3 minutes recording an audio and you can be listening to that live as I'm saying, instead of, once it happens and then it gets sent through and then you can listen to it, as a recording. They've got real-time FTW. I'll have to find out what FTW is. We'll put it up on the screen here.
Is that for the win?
Potentially for the win, maybe. Let's see what that is. We'll do a little bit more research on that one. The next trend they're talking about is doing more together. So obviously, we're social beings, and it says here, group chats make it easy for us to spend time together, both on and offline. What I'm scared about is the fact that people are going to be relying on these messengers and videos and calls and being able to get into the point where it's like, you know what, I don't need to go to the coffee shop to meet up with a friend. I'm just going to do a live group chat and have 20 of my friends right there. You've got to really watch your own indoctrination of these apps and watch how it's starting to control you and your everyday life. It's super important. They're creating these things, and whilst it's exciting on the forefront, we've got to look at what it's actually doing on the back end of everything. They're talking here, they've got 4K quality image. We don't need to get into that, but it's how can you start to look to use Messenger for your business, for your brand. And the big thing that I'm taking from this is the whole Messenger group chats, right? So they're saying Messenger group chats already have lots of features like the ability to react to an individual message. So there could be 10 of us in a group, someone writes a message and you can now react to that specific message individually, which is pretty cool. Simplify to delight. What are they talking about here? They're just really looking at streamlining and really trying to simplify the new features so it doesn't become too cluttered. Because what can happen is when there's too many buttons, too many options, it's like just bought my wife a Porsche. We hop in the Porsche and it feels like we are in an aeroplane. There's like buttons here, there, and there, and it almost becomes too overwhelming. So what they're doing here is they don't want to have too many buttons just for the sake of having buttons. I say this to everyone that I ever work with is, if you can't explain a reason as to why that button's there and the value of having that button there or this there or that there, then you really need to remove it. It's that whole simplification. So they're clearly looking at wanting to simplify and streamline Messenger this year. They're talking about getting way more visual. What does that even mean? I predict visual messaging will fully explode in 2018 because people will expect a super fast and intuitive camera, videos, images, GIFs, etc., of course. And as technology and internet speeds increase, I know friends in America don't really have to worry about this, but in Australia we're running like the slowest internet speeds basically on the planet, almost feels like. But it's going to get to a point where you're going to be able to 4K video stream through your phone in real time, landing in the person's, in your friend's inbox, and it's just we're going to have that level of expectation. They're also looking at Messenger Kids. Wow, they're bringing out Messenger Kids. Is a visual first app. Parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles can video chat with the kids. And if that's almost a news story within itself. How'd they just slip that on in?
That came out months ago. We spoke about it in the first episode briefly.
Oh, we did too. That's right. Jeez. But I haven't heard about it since. It's sort of been a little bit dormant. Yeah. But Messenger Kids, what they're doing here is they are indoctrinating the pants off children. I mean, you need to look at it right now. You go out to dinner and you see children on their parents' iPhones or they've got an iPad. I mean, that person is going to be an Apple advocate for their entire life. Soon as probably one of their first things they'll want for Christmas or their birthday is, I want my own iPhone. I want my own iPad. Unbelievable if they don't already have it. Messenger Kids, the first visual is a visual first app, right? So they're talking about being able to connect parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and obviously anyone really chat with their friends face to face. Depending on who you ask, video chat can be better than face to face if you use the right funny filter. Ooh, I don't know about that. We need to talk about that at a further date. I think the Messenger app, you don't want it to be your first point of communication. I don't believe. If you're going to be relying on, if you're seeing your kids on these apps, and look, it's all very case to case based. I've got friends overseas, perfect to do that on, perfect to do that with. No more are you ever going to get an overseas phone bill because you can just jump on Wi-Fi. Send through Messenger, video chat, real time, unbelievable. One of the highlights out of this article is they're talking about customer service will transform into customer care. So there was actually a study commissioned by Nielsen, which I'm going to just jump straight into that, and they came up with some interesting stats. It's very important to know. I don't like when people reference studies and they just go 20% of this. There was a study and 20% of people did this. It's like how many people were actually surveyed. That's super important. In this case, there was around 12,500 people across 14 different markets using Messenger apps. Okay, so there was 12,500 people, pretty good response rate. So it gives you a pretty good understanding of where these percentages are at. But this is pretty cool. 63% of people say their messaging with business has increased over the past 2 years. That's not a surprise. I mean, there was 1 week where I actually it was over 1,200, it was between 1,200 and 1,300 individual messages to people. So I was testing something out and I was using the Messenger app for it. The amount of conversations, the amount of relationships built by just doing that is unbelievable. 56% of people would rather message than call customer service. That's important. So if you don't have someone managing or looking after your fan page, then you're severely missing out. There's over 50%, 56% of people would rather send a message than actually get on the phone and talk. 61% of people like getting personalized messages from businesses. 67% of people expect to message businesses even more. So people are already in the indoctrination of, I'm just going to message someone. You know, I actually did it. We booked some car parking at the airport before we went away at Christmas, and I was having trouble on the website. I went straight to their Facebook page and Facebook messaged them. So that just happened without me even thinking. So it's going to become more and more important to be able to have a presence. Let's have a look at what else they came up with here. 69% of people say messaging using Facebook Messenger is convenient. Well, of course it's convenient. I found it convenient. That's why I went there. Instead of actually giving someone a call, or, you know, the website, you click on contact us and fill out a form into your email, that stuff just takes 5 times longer. 68% of people say it makes it easy to stay up to date. So the use of auto bots and message bots is really cool. So if you have specific messages that you want to send out, you can build up your subscriber base in Messenger, and then of course you can, like you would an email broadcast, you can send out a message broadcast. Even better, you send out both. You send out an email broadcast and then you let them know, hey, check your inbox, we've got a very special email for you. Right? So you can simultaneously utilize Messenger to really bolster the results that you're getting with email marketing. I personally don't feel Messenger should be utilized as the the main support, because they don't have enough tools built in yet, like opening tickets, closing tickets, all of that. It is perfect for a first step. So you would take them from Facebook Messenger, then guide them off to your own support desk, support team, support staff. But right now, you just got to look. They're saying, this is from Facebook themselves, they're saying customer service will transform into customer care. So they know the importance of it. So they will be, and I would almost guarantee they're working on solutions right now that can create a more intuitive customer care base inside your Messenger. And finally, they're saying Messenger as a marketing channel, no longer, if, but when. So it's happening, whether you like it or not. Just like in our past episode of Notified, the new newsfeed release, it's happening whether you like it or not. But you've got to look at this. They're really putting emphasis into ensuring that people are actually coming here. They've said here, we've been encouraged to see the bigger brands. So Lego, right? Here's something I'll do. I'll go and suggest to you is go to some of these big brands and actually send them a message and see what actually comes back, if you get anything back. I know a lot of businesses, especially in America, utilize Twitter. Like, you know, if anyone has complaints, they tweet out and then the customer service connects to them. It's crazy. They're basically just saying, 2017 was a challenging year for all kinds. I'm happy that despite all the things that sometimes divide us, we still mainly want to connect and generally spend quality time with one another. They want to make Messenger the easiest and most delightful way for people to spend time together in happy and harder times. That's the impact Messenger team wants to make at scale. And I'm optimistic we'll deliver it in 2018. Thank you for being part of our community. Well, thank you for writing that, David. I don't know about you. Let me know your thoughts. If you're excited about Messenger or how you can be utilizing Messenger or how you are currently using Messenger, let us know in the comments of what's going on there. And I look forward to seeing what comes of it. Also in Notified, we have a little bit of a doozy, probably not surprising to many, but there's a very good explanation around it, and I'm going to explain it. Snapchat lays off at least 24 amid slowed user growth and engagement. So basically they've laid off 24 workers. Let's have a look. So, I like how they've got the Snapchat filter there crying, interesting. Snapchat has laid off at least 24 people across several divisions within the company. Basically, more than half of the 24 employees laid off today were part of the content creation team. So Snapchat actually told TechCrunch that what's left of the content division will now move to the company's Venice and California location. They're saying these layoffs also may not have been unexpected. As part of their organization, they're looking to cut costs due to the lackluster growth of the 6-year-old company. Investors have been pressuring Snapchat to grow its user base, but so far the company has fumbled in the key areas such as hardware and a much anticipated app redesign, which has had a delayed rollout to the United States. This redesign has worried some publishers as it may affect their traffic. Well, of course it's going to affect their traffic. As soon as Instagram brought out stories, everyone knew something's going to happen. Whether Snapchat's going to live or is Snapchat going to die, who really knows? When you hear of a company laying off people, you know, all the naysayers and all the pessimists go, oh, they're going out of business. Personally, I don't probably see it like that. You know, you look at it here, it says Snapchat has gone through several layoffs in the last year, letting go dozens of employees over a couple of rounds in the hardware division. But if we actually look at this, there's an article here by Business Insider, and this is pretty, give you some context, right? Snapchat's headcount has ballooned rapidly in the last 2 years from 600 employees at the end of 2015 to 1,800 at the end of 2016, and the company had over 2,600 employees last quarter, right? So as of end of 2017, they got 2,600 employees. So losing 18 employees doesn't mean a company's going out of business. It just means that, you know, when they're going through their heavy growth phase, you need more people on board, right? And then as the heavy growth phase sort of slows down a little bit, because no company can just keep escalating to the stars, right? You know, even if you have a look at Facebook, as they've, you know, as they've gone through their patterns, you know, I'm sure, and again, I'm not quoting here verbatim, but I'm sure there's been big layoffs through Facebook. Even if you go look at Google, all of these big companies have had layoffs. So I personally wouldn't be getting too concerned that, you know, Snapchat are laying off. It says here 18 employees were laid off in the company's recruiting division this week. But if you look here, Ian Spiegel, he says in an email sent to employees last month, part of which were seen by BI Spiegel, said the company would hire at a slower rate in 2018 and that leaders would be asked to make hard decisions about employees who aren't performing well. One thing I do know is when you've got 2,600 employees, the economy of scale and the productivity and work getting done would actually start to get stretched. So if you look and you go, you got 2,600 employees, I would almost guarantee by having 2,500, 982, some good maths there, I think that's right. By losing 18 staff when you've got 2,600 is not going to stunt the company's growth at all. If anything, you could probably get more done in less time by having more of a focus. So maybe Ian's doing this as a play to let people at the company know that, hey, look, you know, you got to perform. He's put the hard decision on managers to make sure that the employees are performing well. And that's just what a business needs to do. If you're not performing, you need to get out the door. Also in Notified today, we're going to be talking about the creator blog. So YouTube, if you're a YouTuber, there's some big news just out the last couple of days. 2017 has marked a tough year for many of you with several issues affecting our community. Just to let you know, this is a letter from YouTube, from the YouTube blog, and several issues affecting our community and the revenue earned from the advertising through the YouTube paid partner program. Basically, it says, despite those issues, more creators than ever are earning a living off YouTube. Basically, someone's coming up with an idea, they're putting a YouTube video up, and hopefully they're going to make some cash from it. But obviously, with more people joining the platform, with fast internet speeds, capabilities, with social media, all the other channels intertwining, you know, YouTube's becoming a very lucrative place for a lot of creators. In 2018, a major focus for everyone at YouTube is protecting our creator ecosystem, ensuring your revenue is more stable. I think what they really need to do first is they need to clean up the comments. Like YouTube comments, if you just scroll through some of the videos, it's unbelievable. People can create a fake persona. That's what I don't like. Why I like Facebook, this is why I like Facebook, and I'm going off topic here, but this is so important. Why I like Facebook is you actually have to sign up as your name, right? It has to be Brett Campbell. Now I know you can go and create fake accounts, but the reality is they've created an ecosystem where that's just not the case. Where someone can go and create a YouTube channel and call themselves Boogie Night 63, and then Boogie Night 63 is now a keyboard warrior going onto people's posts just saying no stupid shit. And even though you know that Boogie Night 63 is probably a keyboard warrior, I won't stereotype anyone, but sitting behind their computer just saying stupid shit to try and get bites from people, a lot of people still take it seriously. But anyway, back to this. So Susan, thank you Susan, she's mentioned in December, we're making changes to address the issues that affected our community in 2017 so we can prevent bad actors, not sure what they mean by actually bad actors, but bad actors from harming the inspiring and original creators around the world who make their living as a YouTuber. A big part of the effort will be strengthening our requirements for monetization. Basically, let me cut straight to it. If you are not getting, if you do not have 4,000 hours, they say starting today, we're changing the eligibility requirement for people to be able to monetize their videos. You need to have 4,000 hours of watch time within the past 12 months, and you must have 1,000 subscribers. Now, there's a lot of people who are getting their knickers in a twist about this because they're like, oh, I can't make any money. But the reality is, based off those numbers, you're loosely talking about maybe earning $50 to $100 a month. So that's not going to bring in the bacon. Well, it would bring in the bacon, but just for one meal. That's all you got. So we've arrived at these new thresholds after thorough analysis and conversations with creators. They will allow us to significantly improve our ability to identify creators who contribute positively. So they're actually talking about here, and they actually say it is, bad actors, spammers, and impersonators. So what you'll find is there's actually people out there right now making money off other people's videos where they'll just take their videos, they'll upload it to their own channel and get more views, which is absolutely unbelievable. And sometimes getting more views than the actual main channel itself. So that's quite scary. On February 20th, 2018, we'll also implement this threshold across existing channels on the platform to allow for a 30-day grace period. So they're not really giving you much time. 30 days, they're going to cut. So, the 5 cents and 10 cents I might earn on this video, I'm going to lose it. Fuck. Come up with other ways to generate income. Now you can look at this and you go, what brought these changes on? There's a number of things. There's some crazy stuff happening right now on YouTube. And if you're part of the YouTube community, you'll know all about it. A actual creator, 22-year-old Logan Paul, has, he's got 15 million subscribers. He's basically built that up in the last, 14, 15 months from 0 to 15 million subscribers. He creates a daily vlog, not as good as ours, but he's getting millions of views per video. I think last time his stat showed at least 10 million views a day on average his channel's getting, which is crazy, right? Which works out to give you some context, about 20 grand a day. So $20,000 income generated from his AdSense. Now he's just recently put up a video, which caused probably the biggest internet stir of all, especially in YouTube, #1 trending topic, where he actually went into the Japanese suicide forest. He came across a dead body. He filmed it. He reacted in a way that most people are just absolutely atrocious, appalled by, where he sort of laughed, had a little bit of joke around it. But again, I'm not getting into was he right, was he wrong? That's just how he handled it at the time. And then he actually went to upload that video to YouTube with a thumbnail with a person hanging from a tree. Now, that video got 6 million views in the first few hours, hundreds of thousands of likes of the actual video until a couple of YouTube creators actually caught wind of it, and then it just went in a downward spiral. He ended up taking the video off the platform. He removed the video, and a lot of creators were getting angry at YouTube because they didn't remove the video. They like, how could a video like this actually get put up on the platform and be seen by millions of people before something happened? So I imagine a lot of this has actually come from the back of that, or maybe obviously YouTube's been working on this for some time, but the chaos, the storm that was created by the Logan Paul saga. The interesting thing is his YouTube channel has still been, he hasn't posted a video for 2 weeks, but his YouTube channel, he's about to crack 16 million. So I think he's grown 200,000 fans, followers, subscribers over the last 2 weeks by actually not even posting a video. But what's actually happened, something significant, is they've actually moved him from their partner preferred Google AdSense program. I don't know what that looks like financially, any of that. But it would be safe to say he's going to lose a lot of cash from his advertising side of things. And it's sparked now this change that YouTube really need to start focusing on. So now they've even got a team of people they're hiring. I'm not sure the amount of people, but they're hiring a lot of new people to be able to now watch these partner preferred, the people with millions of followers. Actually, all of their videos are going to get assessed and watched to see if it needs to be taken down. So interesting stuff happening, interesting things happening. Put it this way, if you are creating videos only for the sole purpose of generating income from AdSense, you need to reassess your strategy and look for other ways to be able to monetize your videos, such as You know, if you're a business and you're looking for a digital marketing strategy that's going to knock it out of the park, you want more social media fans, you want to get better engagement, you want to generate more leads, you want to increase the profits of your business, all you need to do is look in the comments and there's a link and you can go and have a look at Campbell Media Group and how we can actually deliver that strategy for you. So you can just sit back and just count your cash. Right, other ways to monetize your channel. So YouTube actually stayed here. Though these changes will affect a significant number of channels, 99% of those are affected were making less than $100 a year. So, you know, whilst you must have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of video watched, it's really a very small blip in the ocean. Last year, 90% of channels earning less than $2.50 a month. So, I mean, that isn't even a coffee. So you're not losing out on too much. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Notified. I'm Brett Campbell, and you've been notified.